Hello and welcome to another bonus episode of Kill James Bond, where it is once again time for us to A your cues. You have cues, and we'll A them.
That's our promise to you. Hot second, huh?
It's been a minute since we've had some cues.
We figured it was a good time to do it because now we have officially killed him.
Yep, he's dead. He's
easy.
Fucking
all 25
done.
movies.
Easy.
It's easy for us to now look back upon not just James Bond as a series, but kill James Bond and answer some questions.
Do a bit of
with the benefit
there are no
of
more
hindsight.
Bonds left to kill, James.
Well, I mean,
Devon
he'll
wept.
return at some point.
Oh, he will.
We know he will. We're on the watchword of liberty is eternal vigilance, and so too of podcasting. However,
or your wretched, your puddled Bonds. Let's start on a nice low ball.
Sure.
Scaraby asks, now that you've watched them all, who is your favourite Bond?
Ooh, still Dalton.
Really?
I love the fucking weird bastards. I do. I think that he imbued it with the most sort of depth. And I can't get I could have watched 6 more movies so long as he got the laugh in all of them. Any time we had to go I was just yeah, perfect. That's James Bond. That's James Bond.
I would have liked maybe 1 or 2 more Daltons. I just want to see him, flex a little bit.
Yeah.
I think he would have really aged into it too, is the other thing, because he was still for a Bond, because the Bonds have been they get pretty old doing it because it's very physically demanding and it takes a long time to make the movies. He never really sort of had that aged Bond thing where a lot of others did. And I think that unlike something like old Connery or even old Craig, I think an older Dalton Bond would have been something quite different, and I would have really appreciated it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I completely agree. Abby and I actually discussed this recently, and we have the same stance.
I do really like, in terms of acting, I do really like Daniel Craig, and something that I've come to appreciate over the course of watching the Craig films is he is a genuinely very, very good screen actor, and
sure.
I want to watch more Daniel Craig films because he is exceptionally good. Just recognize the craft. But I think in terms of who I had the most fun watching, it's got to be Roger Moore.
It's got to be Roger Moore.
It's got to be Roger Moore.
He was the most fun Bond. I will concede that much.
Just think back to the moment where he was inside a body bag and he sat up and went, woo! It's no other Bond would have done that. There's so many moments I'm just dude, what the fuck?
There's such an irreverence to it. Just how bad his first movie was really set me specifically on a course for truly hating this guy. But just quite genuinely, I could go back and watch basically any Roger Moore Bond
those
film.
are the ones I would go back and watch again.
More sort of benefited from having a sort of very affable, if sometimes racist script is the thing. If you handed Daniel Craig a movie about the egg, it would be strange. It wouldn't quite work, I don't think.
Roger Moore really fitted the sort of affable, older
no
Bond.
other Bond actor could have done Bond in a clown suit.
God no.
That's true.
Although technically Bond is
British
always
agent.
in a clown
God,
suit.
that's funny.
Yeah.
I really like Octopussy, basically.
Yeah. You really pointed something out important when we watched Never Say Never Again, Alice, which is the natural politics of the Bond franchise at that time would have been extremely reactionary.
Sure.
And it's just I think Moore kind of held that back a lot.
With kind of silliness for the most part.
Yeah. It kind of almost seemed more like kiddie.
Well, that's also why the misogyny gets so weird. Is
that's true.
By the time you get to something like For Your Eyes Only, right? You get this kind of misogyny that's harmless uncle sort of thing, where it's you're too young, so put your clothes back on, we'll get you an ice cream kind of thing. It's still bad, but if you compare to what a sort of I don't know, mechanically propped up Sean Connery would have been doing in that movie.
Lord
it doesn't
almighty.
fucking bear thinking
slapping
about.
women, and it's an interesting tonally the Roger Moore films feel like they're pitched at 13-year-old kids and their dad who going to the cinema for some dad child
so
time.
much of the Bond nostalgia that we've been trying to sort of dynamite with this podcast arises from exactly that. Like, all of the Twitter accounts that are just like, perfect night in with the James Bond and a nice beer, which we, of course, all hate and are trying to destroy. All of those, I imagine, come from, like, for the most part, pretty fond memories of watching Roger Moore.
Yeah.
I think, it's Moore, baby.
Yeah.
He's just...
Also, I know somebody who knew him in real life, and apparently he was just a very lovely man.
Yeah, I fully believe it.
Yeah, down to earth and surprisingly funny. Yep.
Yeah, so
All's cute.
Friends with Roger Moore.
Although also, it's so is Daniel Craig. I have it on good authority. So.
Oh, I'm sure. I think
on the other
hand, thing about Daniel
like,
Craig, actually, let me ask that question.
you wouldn't really have like it on good authority that like, this guy's a massive piece of shit. You'd have it on quite dubious authority. No one's ever like, I talked to so many people about this guy and they all fucking hate him. I could tell you stories, but no, not on the podcast.
Better not.
I did a live show with Alice Caldwell Kelly. She was fucking terrible.
Oh, she was awful. Actually, there's a question regarding that. I'll throw that in here.
Oh, shit. All right.
Brian no, don't worry. Brian asks, were you guys nervous for the live show, and did you have any pre-show rituals?
I was so fucking nervous. And the thing is, right, I got the train that's down the same day. Mm-hmm. And I was sick as a dog because the like tilting trains do not agree with me. I was trying to watch the fucking movie on my laptop for the first half hour, which was the worst mistake I've ever made in my life. And so I spent like pretty much all of the West Coast main line just like head in my hands, fucking white knuckling it, trying not to fucking throw up on anybody. And I think a decent proportion of that was nerves. I was nervous once I got to London. I don't know if you're aware of this, listener. I don't really get out that much because it's terrifying. And so this was sort of like partially a test run for me doing like this stuff outdoors, but also just, I was kind of like, this makes it sound quite dispassionate to be like, I was curious to see if I could do it without fucking like losing my entire shit. But the strangest thing was that as soon as I got to the venue and met these two, it was fine.
I have to say none of that showed at all. You just like completely bossed it.
I just like meeting you two and Nate really just put me at my ease so completely. That
I was gonna
just
say,
like, it's my friends. Fine.
You fucking bossed it. You were unbelievable for someone like to just like come down first time doing like anything like this for years in front of an audience of like 125.
Since school, I think. Yeah.
And to just have them eating out of the fucking palm of your hand.
Yeah, you were the first one out on the stage. You immediately took the space and just did it. Like, it's great.
It's phenomenal.
I mean, you just have to like, the audience are hogs and you just have to like discipline them.
See, that's what I've been saying.
Yeah, but it took me like learning this like experientially. I had to like internalize that. And once I got to the point where I was like, you will laugh now.
You walk out on stage and you're just like, yo, you ever heard of being transgender? And you get like a standing ovation. I think at that point, pretty easy to just do a live show.
I will say this: if you came to the live show, you were not what we would call a tough crowd.
It was a wonderful audience. Yeah.
Yeah.
There weren't any pre-show rituals, but these two did own me for doing vocal warm-ups.
Yeah, you were doing
vocal warm-ups. The tongue. Like, fair enough, though, to be fair. I should probably start doing vocal.
No, I genuinely, I had my little notebook and that was it. That was all I needed.
My pre-show ritual
we had some fun time, like getting into makeup. We had girls chat, getting into makeup in the changing room. That was really nice.
Yeah. Also, I vastly enjoyed doing or helping with audio setup with Nate and the AV person.
Wonderful.
At the venue. Because there's not many times in my life where I get to do a like full arm extended thumbs up to signify that something is working correctly. And that's that was one of the rarer pleasures. I felt like I was like launching fucking aircraft off of a carrier. It was great. So more of that.
Freeloader alert. In order to find out all of the rest of the A's to these various Q's, you're going to have to head to patreon.com/killjamesbond and sign up today for at least £5 a month. It's like the cost of like one, maybe 2 normal cups of coffee, but one like fancy one. So that's really not all that much, is it? all things considered. I'll see you there.